Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the rangers, or the highway patrol. These are the stories of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws. Drivers breaking traffic laws comprise the largest single violation for the highway patrol. Many times the driver is an ordinary man who, by his carelessness, is the cause of a tragedy. But there are some occasions when the man behind the wheel is more than a careless driver. Such was the case when, on November 7th, Officer Dillon was in pursuit of a speedster named Eddie Beekman. Within moments, patrol headquarters received Officer Dillon's call, and an ambulance was on its way to the scene of the accident.
S02E18. I'm holding driver and companion. Request aid at the scene.
I'm on my way. 10-4?
10-4.
Officer Dillon's request for help resulted from the actions of the father, John Weber, who remained at the scene of the accident. Weber insisted on dealing with the driver personally.
What is it?
This is Mr. Weber, father of the child.
5 minutes with that guy. That's all I ask.
That won't help your child any, Mr. Weber.
Maybe not, but it'll help a lot of other children.
You live around here, Mr. Weber?
Yeah, right there.
There's nothing you can do here.
It's criminal the way he was traveling. It's a wonder she wasn't killed.
I know. Would you please go to the hospital? Your wife needs you.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll be in touch with you. What's that? Eddie Beekman. What about the car?
Registered to a Frank Loring, 1942 Willow Crest Road.
It's just terrible, officer. The ball rolled out on the street and the little girl ran after it. She didn't even see us.
This Loring, guy that owns the car, who is he?
Yeah, I work for him. I'm his gardener. You can call him up. He lets me use the car all the time.
Why didn't you stop when you heard his siren?
I don't know.
Who are you, miss?
This is Barbara Franklin.
You live around here?
In Denison.
Look, officer, she didn't have anything to do with it. I was driving the car.
Yeah, but she's involved. We need her testimony. Why don't you take her home? Let's go, Beekman. You're under arrest. Get out.
For what? A speeding charge?
For that, evading arrest, and also that child being critically injured.
It wasn't my fault. She ran right out in front of me. I did everything I could. I tried to stop from hitting her.
Yeah, I know. You take it from here.
Look, Eddie, there's no point in coming to see you. There's not a thing I can do to help you.
What do you mean? There's plenty you can do. You can begin by getting me out of here.
All right, kid. Just as soon as we can get started. But you got to give us some time. It isn't easy.
I want out of here today. Now, you and Lauren get me a writ of habeas corpus, and I mean today. If not, there's going to be plenty of trouble.
Think we'd pull a trick like that after all this time? You think we're going to run out on you?
I'm not about to find out, Wyatt. One thing else. You better get a hold of that child's father and pay him off. I don't want to be tangled up in any civil suit.
It could come pretty steep.
So what? It's worth it to me. And to you, too. Now, you hurry, you hear?
Didn't like the idea of waiting until tomorrow, did he?
No, and he doesn't trust us either. Well, his threats are just a lot of talk.
You know, if you and I were smart, we'd forget about him.
To hear you talk, Wyatt, you'd think you didn't care whether your brother got out or not.
Well, it's not that. It's just...
It's just that blonde that you haven't been able to spend as much time with as you'd like to.
What do you mean, what blonde?
Oh, you can get that puzzled look off your face. I know about you and the Franklin girl, even if your brother doesn't. I've got 3 years invested in this thing, and I don't intend to have anything go haywire on the last day. Understood?
Yeah, Frank, I understand.
I don't care what you and your brother do after tomorrow. It may not please you for him to get released, but I'll get the satisfaction of knowing that he won't be doing any talking.
You're the boss, whatever you say.
Come on, let's go get some money and bail him out now.
Here's Beekman's picture. His record hadn't come through yet. Mr. Weber's outside. You wanted to see him?
Yeah, in a minute. Beekman, huh? He's 5'11", about 173 pounds, got brown hair. He's about 30 years old. Does that description mean anything to you?
Nah, I see 50 of them like that every week.
Yeah, I know. There's something about it familiar, but I don't know what.
You got enough to keep you busy without letting a description bug you.
All right, send Weber in.
Come in, Mr. Weber.
Mr. Weber, sit down.
Thank you. I understand you let him go.
Had to. His lawyer showed up with a writ. He still has to go to court.
Yes, well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, Mr. Matthews. I've been thinking it over, and I've decided not to press charges.
Not press charges? That's not for you to say, Mr. Weber.
Well, I don't have to testify against him. And I really don't care much about starting a civil action. I'd just as soon let the matter drop.
He was traveling awful fast. To use your words, that's criminal.
All the same, it couldn't have happened if Polly hadn't been playing in the street. I've told her 100 times to stay in the yard. Polly's going to be okay. She's getting proper care. That's the important thing.
Proper care can be expensive, Mr. Weber.
The insurance will take care of it. I'd better get back to the hospital. Ms. Weber hasn't eaten since breakfast.
Garvey, come in here. There's something about this accident that bothers me.
What do you mean?
Well, Weber, a while back he wanted to take care of Beekman all by himself. Now he wants to wash his hands of the whole thing.
Well, since he knows his child's getting the best of care, he probably figures he can be charitable.
What do you mean, the best of care?
The little girl's been moved from the receiving hospital to a private clinic.
Weber hasn't got that kind of dough. Who's paying the bills?
The insurance company, I guess.
This description's giving me trouble, too. Come on, take a real good look. See if it doesn't ring a bell.
No, afraid not. You're working yourself up over nothing.
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Do you remember Jim Ellsworth? He was a druggist over in Latimer County.
Yeah. Yeah, he was killed in a holdup a few years ago.
Yeah, that's
Good
right.
friend of yours, wasn't he?
He sure was. I was with him when he died. All he could give me was a description. 5'11", 173 pounds, brown hair, and about 30 years old.
Yeah, but, Chief, there's a million guys that could fit that.
All right, so it's 1,000,000 to 1. Check it out.
Okay.
Wait a minute. You said Beacon's insurance company might be paying the bills.
Yeah, seems the likeliest answer to me.
All right, let's assume he had liability and property damage. Investigator check it, then he'd make a report. That takes time.
There's only one other possibility.
Yeah, who bought Weber off? I'm going over and talk to Lauren.
Okay, Sam. Yeah, goodbye. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Matthews, but what was it you wanted to know about Eddie?
Oh, that's all right. Is she still around?
Well, yeah, he just went into town to pick up some nitrate.
Still work for you?
Yeah. You think I should have fired him?
Well, you know what happened.
Well, Eddie's been working for me for quite a few years, and I look at him as sort of a member of the family, Mr. Matthews.
Yeah, I know, but tell me, do you know someplace he could dig up a large sum of money in a hurry?
Well, not offhand, no. Why?
Well, how about friends and relatives?
Well, there's his brother Wyatt. He works for me, too. But you said a large sum.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Loring. What about you?
Well, I'm not a rich man, Mr. Matthews. Practically every cent I make goes back into my groves.
Yeah, I know, but you said he was a member of the family, or almost like a member of the family. Suppose he needed a few thousand in a hurry.
It's a bridge I'll have to cross when I get to it.
You haven't crossed it yet?
That's right.
What about Eddie's background?
Oh, his work's always been satisfactory, and he was reliable. That's all I know. That's all I needed to know. Look, I don't understand this. What is it that you're driving at?
Well, I'll tell you. Somebody's paying Eddie's bills. They're pretty big. I'd like to find out who. Then I'm going to find out why.
In an attempt to find out who supplied the money that bought off John Weber, Dan Matthews began an immediate investigation of Frank Loring and the Beekman brothers.
Just came up with something that sounds pretty good.
On which one?
Loring. He sold a piece of property a few hours ago for $15,000.
What'd you do with the money?
He didn't bank it, that's for sure. He keeps an account at the Citrus Trust. They haven't seen a penny of it.
Well, maybe Loring was forced into selling.
Blackmail, maybe?
Could be. Put a tail on Loring and Beekman. Also Barbara Franklin.
Beekman's girlfriend?
Yeah. You know, I don't get it. How can a girl with expensive taste like that run around with a gardener? Can you figure a girl like that living in the citrus grove?
Yeah, for the right reasons.
All right, see if you can find him.
The plainclothes officers had nothing to report on Eddie Beekman and Loring, who had both remained at the ranch. But the girl, Barbara Franklin, was followed to a nearby town where she did a considerable amount of shopping.
No past criminal record for Eddie Beekman. Latimer County reports he was indicted for drugstore holdup. District Attorney's Office was unable to prove the case. Both Eddie and his brother Wyatt were acquitted. A little over 3 years ago. That's the same holdup that Jim Ellsworth was killed in. That's about the time they went to work for Loring, isn't it?
That's right. From what we've dug up, they've both been pretty much a pair of drifters. Why should they all of a sudden settle down in a rural area and hold jobs for 3 straight years?
3 years.
What are you getting at?
3 years. Let me see. Here's what I'm looking for. About 3 years ago, the Citrus Trust was taken for $500,000.
Yeah, I remember. There were 3 men that pulled a job, weren't there?
Yeah, that's right. They've never been picked up. Disappeared without a trace. The money's never been circulated.
The Beekman brothers.
That could be. Call the DA's office. Find out what the statute of limitations is on this case.
In this state, it's 3 years.
Yeah, I know. I just want to find out how much playing time we got left. Matthews. From Patterson? Oh, how's it gone? Yeah? Why don't you do that? No, I want you to stay with it. Call me if anything else develops, huh? Right.
The DA's office is checking for me now. They'll get back to us as soon as they've got the figures.
I just talked to Patterson. The Franklin girl's been on a shopping spree. And a big one. She bought herself a wardrobe, a summer wardrobe, and charged it. Has to be ready in 2 days. She also bought traveling luggage.
Summer wardrobe? Temperature reading 68. Who buys summer clothes in the middle of the fall?
It's not fall all over the world, you know. Find out if she applied for a passport. Try the airlines, too. She wants her clothes in 2 days. She's going someplace in a hurry.
Right.
Matthews.
The DA's on the phone.
Oh, put him on. Hello, Jason. How are you?
Fine, Dan. I have the information for you. The Citrus Trust robbery took place 3 years ago, to the day.
Are you sure?
Positive, Dan. The statute of limitations on the holdup runs out at midnight tonight. You coming over?
I'll be there as soon as I can.
Where's that brother of mine? He's supposed to be helping me with this.
I think he said he had to go into town for something.
Yeah, he's never around anymore. Haven't got enough to keep me busy. I got to do his work, too.
I wouldn't worry about it, Eddie. After today, you'll be a man of leisure.
Barb.
Honey, you must be out of your mind. Here in broad daylight.
Relax, baby. Eddie's miles away.
Sorry, Dan, I don't see how I can possibly do it.
In less than 12 hours, we're dead. I need more time.
I know, I'm sorry, too, but... Well, if you had some physical evidence or testimony. But you don't. By your own admission, all you have is a pretty good set of circumstances.
All right, can you issue a complaint? I'll fill in the details later.
Sure. And the defendants promptly engage a good attorney who demands immediate arraignment for his clients.
So can't you stall him?
For 48 hours at the outside. Then at the arraigning, the judge throws the case out of court for lack of evidence and absolves the defendants, leaving us right where we started.
Oh, wait a minute. 48 hours. This gives me time to move around then. I might be able to get you some evidence.
Might isn't good enough, Dan. If we fail to make the charges stick, they can turn around and sue for damages, for false arrest.
Yeah, you're right.
Tell you what I'll do. I'll prepare a complaint and a warrant and hold them ready for issuance at a moment's notice. I'll stay by my phone until midnight and make arrangements to contact the judge. If you can produce sufficient evidence against the suspects by then, I'll act.
Okay, thanks.
Not only does Barbara Franklin have a passport, but she booked 2 reservations on an overseas flight for day after tomorrow.
What do you mean, 2?
One for her, one for Wyatt Beekman.
You mean Eddie Beekman, don't you?
No, I checked on him myself. It's Wyatt Beekman.
All right, that's the weak spot right there.
What do you mean?
Well, Barbara Franklin's playing 2 brothers, one against the other. Eddie's coming out second best. Let's go to work on him, shall we? Keep Barbara and Wyatt out of the house.
Huh? How?
Well, that's your job, isn't it?
I'm going over to the packing plant. I'll be back this evening.
Okay, Frank.
Hello? Yes, this is Eddie Beekman. Oh, what for? I thought the hearing wasn't until next week.
No, it has to do with another matter. Would you please come in and see us right away?
Okay. Wyatt? Hey, Wyatt!
Beekman's here.
All right, I'll see him.
Come in, please.
Mr. Beekman, sit down.
Thanks. What's this all about, Mr. Matthews?
Well, how long have you known Barbara Franklin?
Oh, about a year, I guess.
Tell me, what do you know about her? Where does she come from?
Oh, she's just a girl I take out, that's all. Why?
Has she been seeing anybody else?
Oh, she doesn't see anybody else. What are you driving at?
Well, about 3 years ago, the Citrus Trust was taken for about $500,000.
So?
Well, last week, some of the money started to show up. Barbara Franklin's been on a spending spree. Our investigator says the money comes from her.
Well, I don't think you'd find her involved in anything like that. As a matter of fact, she's only been in the state a year or so.
Yeah, we know that. But from the information we get, we believe she's getting money from somebody else.
Like who, for instance?
Well, whoever she's leaving the country with day after tomorrow. You see, she is leaving with an unidentified male. We thought perhaps you could tell us who it is.
Why don't you ask her?
We would if we could find her. She moved out of her place, left no forwarding address. Well, thanks, Eddie. We'll do our own police work. But you can go now.
Sure.
Excuse me. How'd it go?
We'll see.
Let's hope he checks that money to see if any's been spent.
Probably check her place first. Everything arranged?
Yeah, her landlady promised full cooperation. The shop owners said that they'd tell anybody asking that she made cash purchases, not charges.
Did you arrange to keep Wyatt and Barbara away from the house?
Yeah, I had the travel agency give them a call. They're probably over there now. I'll check.
Good.
The landlord informed Beekman that the girl had left, leaving no forwarding address. He also supplied a description of her companion, a description which fitted Eddie's brother exactly.
Undercover unit just called in. Eddie checked the apartment all right. Seems to be on his way to Loring's place now.
Well, that's good. If I figured right, the next thing he'll check is the money. What about Loring?
Still got a tail on him. He's at the packing plant in Denison.
Matthews. What? How long ago? Okay, thanks. Well, it was a travel agency. They couldn't hold Wyatt. He got suspicious. Let's go to Loring's. We might have a homicide in our hands.
What do you think you're doing?
You know what I'm doing.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing's wrong with me, not since I found out what a fool you and Barbara have been making of me.
What are you going to do?
I haven't made up my mind yet. It pretty much depends on what I find in that tree.
What's that got to do with Barbara and
Oh,
me?
come off of it, as if you didn't know. Don't pull that innocent act with me. Barbara's been spending that bank money at every shop in town.
Where'd you get ideas like that?
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I don't know where you got your information, but it's all wrong. I admit we've been seeing each other. But not 1 cent of that dough has been touched. Look at that cement. That'll prove to you that no one's been there.
How do I know the money's in there? Because you say so? I should believe you after what you've been pulling behind my back. Maybe you removed the money a long time ago, or just maybe it never was there.
You'll have to wait until after midnight when Loring gets here. You waited for 3 years. You can wait a while longer. Eddie, use your head. All I want you to do is wait till after midnight.
All right, hold it. You won't have to wait till after midnight, Eddie. All right, come on your feet. Move. Over against the fence. Contact the man we've got on Loring. Have him picked up.
So that's where you got your information. 3 years. 3 long years down the drain.
Well, this is what you've been waiting for. Pick it up. All right, go on, hit it. See the Highway Patrol in action again next week. Until then, remember, Leave your blood at the Red Cross, not on the highway. This is Broderick Crawford saying, see you next week.